Welcome back to Handmade with Tara. Hi, I'm Tara, a stay-at-home mom to 3 beautiful boys and a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator. And today I have my advanced tutorial for the Trusty Tools Bundle, and that is the stamps and the dies that you see here in front of you. And those are in the mini catalog that is from January to April, so it will be retiring. This catalog will be retiring this month, but this set is going to carry over into the new catalog. So this catalog is on page, this stamp set bundle is on page 56 of this catalog. So stamps and dies is what we're going to be working with today. And I have 3 designs for you. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in to the designs that I have for you tonight. So I'm going to just set these aside and then I will show you in the order that I'm going to try to do them. So I'm going to do this one first. So that is card number 1. Card number 2 is this one. So great ideas for some of the tool lovers in your life. Tool lovers, guys. All right, so that is the 3rd design here. So these are, I use all the dies. I use the designer paper. I use an embossing folder. I use some embossing dies. So these are the designs, and I'll just walk you through them one by one, and we'll have some fun. So I'm going to give you all the measurements so you can actually pause the video when I get to the measurements so that you can make sure that you have them all. I don't have the greatest handwriting, but I'll say them as I go through them. So for this card here, I did use these 2023 to 2025 in color dots. So if you have these, great. I did use, this is the cardstock Lost Lagoon, and I cut this cardstock, it's 11 by 4 1/4, and then scored at 5 1/2 and 4 1/4 again. So that's 2 scores. And then I'm gonna need a couple of squares here. So we're gonna do a black square. This is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then 4 by 4 white, 4 by 4 white. So one's gonna be an insert, the other one's gonna get layered on top. And then on the side here, on my spine of the card, I have a 4 1/8 by 1 1/8 black strip, the designer series paper 4 by 1. That's going to get layered on top of there. So those are going to go on top of that card. I'm just going to set that aside. And then, so that's going to go on here like this. Okay. And then I used a 4 by 1 sentiment. That's going to be for my greeting here. So, and then I also grabbed a piece of scrap white, and I will show you why at the end. So for this card, I also used the basic 3D embossing folders, and if you can see this, I used this one right here. So I think you can use one of the other ones, but that's the one I use. And I also pulled out of my stash my Harvest dies. So this is an old set, which is, it's really the only one I could find that had a long enough sentiment tag that I needed for my Happy Father's Day stamp. So I really love this like thin kind of, so that it doesn't cover up the background. But I did use that on this sentiment tag. So that's the very first thing that I'm going to do, is I'm going to just cut this. So I'm going to put this on here, run this through my embossing machine like that, so that I have that piece. And I actually did an extra one earlier, so now it looks like this. All right, so that's the sentiment tag. And then we're going to, first of all, we're gonna do some stamping. All right, so I stamped the inside as well as the outside. So we're just gonna grab all these white pieces and we're gonna stamp first. All right, so everybody with me, let's get stamping here. Okay, so on the insert I used, first of all, let me go ahead and walk that through too. If you weren't sure, or if you're first timer here, I used the Designer Series paper, and that is how I pull all the colors that I use. So it shows you right on the back of the designer paper what colors coordinate with this suite. So basic black, copper clay, crushed curry, gray granite, Lost Lagoon, and Poppy Parade. All those colors will coordinate with this set. So those are the colors that I grabbed. So I'm going to use Poppy, you're the most awesome, just like that. And a couple of tools you're going to definitely need. Your chamois here. I'm going to clean that off. I'll try to stay on top of cleaning my stamps as I go. And then I'm going to use Lost Lagoon for the dad stamp here. And I actually found that for whatever reason this stamp works way better if I have my foam pad underneath. So I'm going to use my foam pad underneath. And this is this white piece is a 4x4. So 4x4 piece. And we're just going to go dad, firm press, just like that. And I'm just going to bring out my chamois a lot, so you'll see me cleaning my stamps as I go here. All right, so that stamp. All right, so you're the most awesome dad. That is the inside. And I actually did a little paintbrush. So I'm going to use the gray granite from a paintbrush. And I'm just going to do a little paint, like I'm painting this right on. Just like that. And I'm actually going to use this a lot more here in a second. So I'm not even going to clean that one yet. But I am going to take a Lost Lagoon blend. And this is the light. And I'm just going to paint on some color onto my paintbrush here. Yep, just like that. So it kind of looks like maybe we just painted that dad right on there. So that's the inside. That's going to go on the inside. Now I'm going to, I told you I'm going to use this again. And I actually did a pattern with this. So this is the way you can create your own background here. So what I did was I just started like from either side, coming into the middle here. And then I just kind of keep flipping it. All right, so that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to clean this off. And also, if you mess up, you can just flip it over. So that's what's so great about the Stampin' Up paper, which if you're an advanced stamper, then you already know that. And then last but not least, I'm going to do my sentiment here. And I'm going to need my Memento black ink, Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I'm going to do Happy Father's Day. And so I know that Mother's Day is next, but I really wanted to make some man cards, and I was like, you know what? If I do them now, then they will be ready to go when Father's Day comes rolling around. So here we go. Right? If you haven't already, please subscribe. Consider subscribing to the channel. I try to do 2 tutorials a month. I do one beginner and then I do one advanced tutorial every month, and try to use different sets that are usually going to go with whatever's going on that month, right? Sure. Or also I am trying to better my own skills as far as like different things, like trying to think of different things to teach people, because it's really fun for me to make cards, but it just adds that extra element that I'm now making tutorials. It makes it makes it super fun and kind of a challenge for me. So I enjoy it. So I'm going to run this through the embossing machine. So after you do the top there, we're going to run this through the embossing machine. I'll be right back. And with my 3 kiddos, it's definitely a wonderful joy that I can do 2 tutorials a month, because I know that doesn't seem like much, but for me, that's like gold. I get my special time. All right, so I'm going to use some of the linen thread. And this is a brand new spool, so hopefully, there we go, I can find the beginning. And I just wrapped it like 3 times, I think. 1, 2, 3, just like that. That's my measurement, guys. Loop it 3 times. So there we go. And then once I get it on there, I can kind of like move it up and down as I wish. And I'm going to tie it in a bow here. Give it a little bow like that. And then I just kind of pull on it, until it gets where you want it. And then snip the edges. There we go. And then I use mini dimensionals to put this sentiment on. And it's nice. It's very long, so I'm spreading them out. There we go. Oops. Pull my bow. So when the bow's kind of facing upside down here, let me see if I can move it. Because both sides have this design that I made here. So I'm just going to move it to the other side. And then I'm going to put the sentiment right across the middle here. Just like that. So that's what it looks like so far. It's coming together. And then I glued it right down onto this base here. So my glue's at the end, so you're gonna see me tapping it here. Get every last drop out of this thing. We don't waste glue around here. All right. So, almost dropped it. All right. So I'm gonna have a nice little rim all the way around. Just gonna push it down. I like the glue, you know the glue, it's forgiving, so you can kind of wiggle it until it's exactly where you want it. There we go. Now I'm just going to glue this down. You don't need much, just like a little bit of glue there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this insert. Like this. And you can put a mat underneath of this if you wanted to do another black mat, but I didn't think it needed it. The most awesome tad. All right, now this one's gonna go right on top here. And since it's already pretty thick, I'm just gluing it down. I used a little bit of dimensionals on the sentiment, and that is it. And then I told you I have an extra little piece of scrap white that I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. All right. There we go. And then the same with the spine. We're just going to glue that down. And make it even with the card here. And then this one, I mean, you can easily probably look at this card and walk yourself through it after you have the measurements, because it just makes everything so easy. So these are the 4 by 1 and 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. So little spine's gonna go right there on the edge. And last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I'm going to add my little gems here right to the end. I think this would actually look really cool if you did like a silver embossing, or maybe even I think maybe the silver, I don't know. Or the black embossing would be good. I don't know. Okay, so that is one card done, and I told you I had a little piece of white scrap. So let me show you what I was going to do with the white scrap. Make a little paintbrush. Make a little paintbrush. I don't know if it's going to look good or not. This is adding on because I saw this and I was kind of like, it feels like it's missing something maybe. So I'm going to add a little paintbrush, and we're going to maybe dry cut it out, put it on top here, and then since I have this crushed curry out, let's see what this looks like. Oh, let's do this in this crushed curry. Oh, that's like a little messed up, but it's not that bad. I like it. I'm not that worried about it. Okay. So, maybe I should do the one on the inside. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So, let me clean that off. And then I can die cut this out because there is a die for the little paintbrush. So, let me see what it looks like. Alright, let's see. So there's my crushed curry. I'm going to save the rest of that scrap for something else. Put this on. So then I'm going to add a little bit of dimension. Okay, and then let's see what this looks like if I just add this on to the front. Just give it some more. Yeah. Here, do we want to... This is my problem. I'm like, where am I going to put it now? Maybe over top of one of the other ones or beside it? I don't know. I just thought it would be fun to like have another one that was like alive here. Here, I'm going to put it right. Maybe I want to put it underneath this one. This is the only bad thing about like trying to do something on the spot here. Did you put it here? I really like having the whole thing here. I'll just try to put it here. Oops. It's like getting stuck on something. All right, we're just gonna commit. There we go. That looks kind of fun. I don't know, you can do that or not do that, it doesn't really matter, but I just had a little bit of something and for an awesome dad. And then I might even color this yellow with the crushed curry since I have it out. And this is a Stampin' Up marker. Let's see, it comes all the way up here just because I think it'll be easier probably than trying to stamp this. And I don't want to mess it up. Oops. Yeah, that's fun. So you don't have to do that part, but if you want to, just give you another option there. So card number 1, done. All right, moving right along. We're gonna jump into card number 2. If I can find it. Okay. So everybody got the measurements for that. It was pretty easy measurements, I will say. Not too many funky measurements for that last card. Right. So, card number 2. So, remember, this is what the card looks like here. So we're going to do like a little toolbox. Thank you. I did use the red and green adhesive back pearls. So it says red and green, but I used these silver ones because they looked kind of industrial-like. And then I have a bunch of scrap tools because I'm going to be using all these. And then let me walk you through all the different measurements here. So base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I used Cajun Craze is the paper that I used. The color, Copper Clay, I'm sorry. Copper Clay is the paper that I used. All right, so then I cut a little bit of vellum. So the vellum is actually 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then I did cut a die cut circle out of this using the, I covered up the name of it. It's one of the new circles. It's called Everyday Details Dies. So Everyday Details Dies, and I have 2 different ones, that's why this was covered up. But Everyday Detail Dies, and I used the largest circle. So I cut this right out of that middle there, so that, because this is going to end up going behind this piece, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and that's going to get layered on top of the vellum, but you're not going to be able to see where that hole was. So that is like that. So 5 1/4 by 4. And then I did cut another one 5 1/4 by 4 for the insert. So that's going to go on the inside, just like that. And then I have pieces that are designer series. It looks like this on one side, looks the gray on the other side. This is what I used for the toolbox, and I did 4 by 1 3/4. So 4 by 1 3/4. And then I got this paper, so the paper that's on the back side of this paper, and I cut a couple of the tools out of these, but I also stamped some tools as well. So you're just gonna need a couple of scrap pieces of white. So I'm just gonna grab the scraps that I just had and bring those back. And then I actually am going to grab a circle out of the vellum. This circle from Everyday Details Dies is the one that I'm going to use. And that's from the okay. So on the first card, I cut it out of the middle of the circle of the bottom one, or out of the other card, I didn't cut it out of the thing. So I used this one, if that makes sense. So on the first card that I made, I did not cut the circle out of the middle. I cut this one, and I was like, oh, it'll fit. So I can do that, and I can still use that piece. So it's dual purpose here. And then this one's gonna get layered on top of here. And that is done with that one. And done with that one. Move some of these things out of my way because I'm getting overwhelmed here. And then I'm going to do my die cuts for my toolbox here. And then I'm going to also use some of these dies to cut out some of the tools that I see a full tool. So if I'm using this paper and I'm like, okay, the hammer I can use, that will go right over top of that like that. Pencil I can use, it's a full design here, just like that. Then I also see the wrench here, so I can do this one. And I think that's about it from this piece. So I'm going to die cut those out, die cut this out, so it looks like a toolbox. And I'm actually going to add this die here is going to go on here. And then on one of these, I forgot to do this piece that's also supposed to go with the toolbox. So I'm going to do this one, and then these three. So I'll be right back. And probably do those in one swoop. There we go. Maybe two. All right, so. Okay, so now I have my die cuts, and I can put my dies away. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. And then these. And this is just a bit of washi tape so that it would stay in place. And these. Okie dokie. So that's that. Let's see. So I don't know if I like that or not. Can't decide. Okay, so let me go ahead and stamp this. So I did a simple thank you card. I used the copper clay to do the thank you. Let me grab that stamp. We're going to replace the Happy Father's Day stamp. Just like that. And this is just going to go right on here. Thank you. Just like that. Okay, so now I can start to build my card, and then I'll know what more I need in a minute. So I'm going to use glue, do my insert. So obviously, depending on who you're sending your thank you to, you can adjust accordingly. For the inside, I'm just leaving this blank because I'm not sure who I'm going to be sending this to yet. So just leave it blank inside. And then, okay, so most of this is going to get covered up. So it doesn't matter if I use some glue. I don't see my bone folder anywhere. Hold on. So I'm just going to do like a thin layer, kind of close to the inside here, because you can see glue through vellum. So I'm going to try not to make a mess of the glue. Okay, well, that was more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Uh-oh. So it's definitely easier if that circle's not there, because it did not do that on my last card. Well, we might just be stuck with that being completely crooked. Please don't do what I just did. Yeah, that glue. Whatever, we're going to cover it up. We're going to make it work. All right, so maybe don't cut the circle out of the middle, because that was very challenging to get it lined up right. And now it's all crooked. I mean, it's very crooked. I mean, what can you do, I think? All right, so what I did with this one was I used a little bit of the tear and tape around the edges, and I left the top open. So we can get this kind of built and ready here. So I just did the very bottom, and I did the sides. So we can put tools in and they hopefully won't fall out. Just like that. So that's ready. And then this is going to go on, and all I did was I just did like a straight line across like that. And then I put the straight line kind of closer to the bottom because I'm going to cover it up with the toolbox. So just kind of a fun interactive card here. And we will put this on there. Try to fix this up. And then I added this little top part on. And I just kind of started on one side and worked my way to the other side. And then push it down like that. Just like that. And then you'll see, like right away, the tools fit in here. Okay? Like this. I don't know if I like it that. I don't know. I'm going to put this in there. But I'm going to have to do that last because it's going to end up going over top of these things. So stick these things in. And you can put a little bit of glue on the back so they stay in place. Or not. It's totally up to you. Since I already have the paintbrush, I think. I don't know, the paintbrush is kind of wide. I'm going to try one of the other ones. Let's see. We can maybe, I like that. That looks kind of fun, but I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do, let's see. Actually, I was going to stamp some images, but the thing that I want, the tool that I want is this thing. So I'm going to do fussy cutting instead here. So I'm going to grab this tool here. So, and this one did not have a die anyway, so, and it does not have a stamp, so I can just cut it right from the designer paper here, and then I can stick it in my toolbox here, because I thought this was, definitely need our pliers, right? Okay. I hope everyone had a very nice Easter yesterday. It was weird for me having Easter in March. It snuck up on me. And it was really a nice day. I hosted and we had all the family over. And that was a lot of fun. Kids enjoyed hunting for Easter eggs and spending time with cousins. It was very fun, very wonderful. And I'm not a huge Easter dinner with the big ham and all the stuff. I don't really like that, but I am when my husband cooks it. He made delicious food. Okay, so I got my little thing here, and since this side is already like kind of cut off, I told you I didn't glue these down for a reason, so I could kind of keep moving them. So like this one I'm going to put there. That's fun, right? So you can kind of fill your toolbox. I don't even know. I like that hole now. It's weird when you fill some of the tools in there. It's not throwing me off. Here, let me see what it would look like if I put that there. I don't know. I can't decide if I like that or not. I saw somebody else had done that. Maybe they put a different color there or something. I don't know. I saw somebody else had built the toolbox and I wasn't sure if I liked that or not, but all right. I can't decide. I feel like I need one more tool here. Oh, you know what? I think I had a ruler or something. That would, or a level. I had a level, I think. Where did that level go? Oops. Losing stuff. Losing stuff. Where can my level be? Okay. Maybe that one was too long though. And that's why I took it out. Trying to find. Could have sworn I had a little level. Maybe I used it. Okay. Oh man, okay, all right, let's see. Okay. Ooh, you know what I didn't use that I thought I would? Some of those little nuts and bolts. So in this, I'm gonna do this a different way here. Because I really like the way that's looking. I might just add a couple to the background here, since I think that'll look alright. That'd be kind of cool. Add a little bit of nuts and bolts here. Maybe switch it up here. I'll do like some more over here on this side. So it looks like there's like nuts and bolts everywhere. That's kind of fun. I didn't do that on the first one, but we're just altering as we go. It's the creative process in motion. All right, guys. Now you can see kind of, I see it and then I'm like, ooh, maybe you can add this or maybe add that. And then I just keep messing with it until it looks like how I like. That's pretty cool. Still feel like there's something missing. Let's see what I can add here. Could probably add this here. I'm just gonna do some more fussy cutting. I was hoping for maybe a screwdriver or something, but this will work. Just a whole toolbox full of goodies here. So, and this is pretty cool because this is just a half of a wrench here, but once I put it in the toolbox, you're not going to be able to tell, hopefully. Okay, scraps out of the way, and let's go push this down in here and see if it looks okay. Oh yeah, that looks better. Looks better with 5. All right, so I'm gonna leave that just like that because I like the way that's looking. It's making me happy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some, I have some glue dots left over from other projects. All right, so, and I'm gonna use some of these glue dots because I think this will work nicely. I can just put it right behind here so that these things, these tools stay in place. And this is how I do it. I save glue dots from other projects, and if you are like me, you probably have some glue dots around there somewhere. Oh, I should have used these for the vellum. You can't really see the glue dots through the vellum, can you? Here, I'm switching my pencil. I'm going to face my pencil up. I probably would put it down in a real toolbox though. Maybe I should have left it down. Oh well. Yeah, we're going to stick that in there. Just like that. I'm going to use one more for that one. Since I have half of it sticking out here. I will say this has been one of the most challenging sets for me. I am not sure why, but I had so much brain fog on this one. Nothing was speaking to me. And maybe it's just because, you know, like, it's not very often that I'm doing male boy cards. I mean, this could be for a girl too, girl or a boy, I guess. But yeah, I don't usually typically make a lot of male cards, and so it was hard. All the girl cards are just so easy for me. But these male cards were pretty difficult. I was really having a hard time trying to come up with some fun ideas. I think that looks cute, right? All right, that is card number 2. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead, all right? I love that. It's kind of fun. All right, so we're going to jump in now to the last design, the last card. And I am just cleaning up a little bit of my workspace here, guys. I told you I felt a little bit of anxiety leading up to this mostly because I wasn't coming up with a design like I wanted to. Usually it kind of just flows freely, but for this one, maybe too, it was Easter and having company yesterday. I was just totally getting burnt out having to think about all the last minute things, and I love hosting. It's definitely, I enjoy it, so it was kind of silly that I was feeling like that, doing something that I love doing. And then I normally can get to posting my workshops early, but we had family visiting this week, and I just gave all my time and attention to my out-of-towners and pushed all my stuff aside. It's really hard for me to do, actually. I really enjoy what I do. All right, and I'm ready for the last design. So hopefully you're still with me. I still want to make this last card. Apologize for the delay here. Let's keep moving. All right. So this card is the last one that we're going to be making here. And I did use some of these new adhesive backed corked rounds. All right. And then I went ahead and I used the same copper clay paper because I have a lot of it and I feel like it's masculine, so it was calling to me, I guess, for these cards. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 again, and we're gonna put it this way this time. And then you need some white 5 1/4 by 4 for the outside and the inside. All right. Like that. And then I use some, I don't have any crushed curry paper, but I did have Daffodil Delight, and that's what I used for the cork, for the, I guess it's called a cork board. So this is 4 by 2 1/2, okay? And I do have 2 of them. So 4 by 2 1/2 times 2, because I'm going to die cut one and then I'm going to lay it over top of the other one. So, and that's going to go here. And then I have a 4 by 1 1/2 for a sentiment. And the sentiment I cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. So these dies, Stylish Shapes, and I use the bigger one right here. All right, so, and that's the first thing that I did. I went ahead and cut that already. So that was ready to go. And then I used, again, the Designer Series paper with the tools. I'm not a huge fan of coloring. It's something that I used to love, but now since I make cards all the time, it becomes like this really, this long task. So I started instead using the Designer Series paper to my advantage, and I would use the different tools that were cut already for you, pre-cut for you. On this one, I did use the drill, so we'll use the drill again because I really like the way that turned out. And the drill bit here. And I use the wrench, or you can use the paintbrush, it doesn't matter. Or you can even do the pliers. Let's do the pliers. I really like the way the pliers look. Here, I'll do all 3, and then we'll see which one we like better. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to see if I can find any of these in the designer paper that I can easily cut out. And I need a new piece. Alright, so I'm going to use this here, and I'm just going to cut it down so it'll fit through my embossing machine. Try not to cut the things I want to use. So, oh, this is tough. I might just fussy cut, guys. I don't want to accidentally. Let me try one more time. I'm cutting, okay, through that. Alright, hopefully I have a drill I can use here. Alright, just take these over here and I'll do some easy cutting. Okay. Cut out some of these pieces here. Can put these dies back. And then I want to do the fork, board, and I'm just going to put this one right over this. I'll cut that out. Okay. So now I have this. This is going to go over top of this like that, and that's going to get glued down there. But I'm going to use that copper clay, and I'm going to do "You Are the Most Awesome" right there on the sentiment tag. Like that. And then on this inside piece, you could do crushed curry, Dad. You could do the green again, and then you do the crushed curry. All right. Oh, I forgot to use my foam pad. So clean those off really fast. Right. So now this is all the inside says. So we can go ahead and glue the insert in. You can use that copper clay again if you like, because it's going to match that paper. Or you can use any of the colors. It does not matter in the least. So then I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on. So both of these white pieces were 5 1/4 by 4. So pretty basic measurement for the card base here. And then I glued on. This glue feels empty, but there's still a lot of glue coming out. So, and I just kind of butted it right up against that side. Like so. And these yellow daffodil pieces are 4 by 2 1/2. And then, okay, so this one we're going to do very thin all the way around the edge. Like so. And then I'm just going to put it right on top of this other one. Because I tried it without it and it didn't like it as much. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on. I kind of put it all the way at the bottom here. And on top. Just like this. Oh, glue's sticking to my fingers. And then I'm going to glue down the hammer. See how I let the designer paper do the work. I love the designer series paper. You can stamp all of these images. You can stamp all of these tools down if you want. And color, whatever color goes and coordinates with your toolbox or tool lover, the person who loves tools. And then we're going to go ahead and pop this up on regular dimensionals. I have just a couple left. And we are almost done if you're sticking with me and you've made it this far in the video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I try to do 2 tutorials a month, a beginner and an advanced, and give different techniques and also I'll use different tools and stuff like that to make some new cards, give you some ideas, some good, easy designs. When you walk through step by step, we're going to use some of these cork rounds. And I just put a couple up here. You can use the big ones or the small ones. It doesn't matter. I just did a couple up here. I thought those were fun. And last but not least, I added a bow. And so it was like we're getting it for a gift. And I used this Lost Lagoon ribbon. I had some left over, and then I just made a little bow. And I'm going to use a glue dot. And I'm going to add a glue dot right to the back of the bow. Like that. You can add more than one if you want to. And then I just put that right on this beautiful tool that I'm going to give somebody here. The most awesome dad. All right, card number 3 is done. So you can add some nuts and bolts. I think that would be kind of fun since I already have it blocked here. I'm gonna add some bolts and nuts. And that looks good. I'm gonna go crazy. Like I did on the last card, right? So, our 3 man designs, okay? Happy Father's Day cards. So now we have our Father's Day cards ready to go when Father's Day rolls around. And this month, maybe I will focus on some Mother's Day cards. We'll see what we'll get. We'll see what we get to. We'll see what we get into. But there are the 3 designs, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions or would like to request a catalog, please let me know. I'd be happy to send you one. My website is here always. So if you have any desire to shop my website. Anything that you buy does benefit me and my small business here, and I really appreciate it in advance, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night, and I hope you all had a beautiful Easter holiday. Thanks. Bye-bye.